or you can't get on the bus. Okay.
What do you do?
Right. So the other things you need to know is tomorrow it's full PE gear. Make sure you're wearing sneakers. Your PE gear. Bring a hat. Bring your school jacket in case it's windy or if it starts to rain. It shouldn't rain, but just in case. And some sunscreen and a drink bottle. Bring your drink bottle. Okay. I'm paying for lunch. Just so you know. So you don't have to pay. You don't have to bring money. I'm sorting out lunch for you guys. All right.
So what are we actually doing tonight? Yeah.
What are we? What? Sorry.
What's actually happening? Like, where are we going? Are we going fishing?
Yeah, so we're going to Seahorse World and Platypus House, then we're going around to the park and we're going to have lunch and then we're going to do some fishing. And Mr. Priest is actually going to be there. He's going to meet us at the park with some volunteers in the fish care unit and they're going to help you guys with the fishing. They're going to teach you how to fish. All right, so I'll pass over to Mr. Priest now. I'll just leave this light switch so that they can see the screen better.
No worries. Thanks, everyone.
So thanks, guys. Pay attention.
All right, thanks, everyone. So today I'm going to just cover a few key issues and things in the recreational fishing in Tasmania. Why we have size limits, how we assess stocks so that we can tell what size limits to put on fish. So we know when they get to sexual maturity, so that they'll breed. So yeah, we'll go through that in a minute. And yeah, just some facts about recreational fishing in Tasmania. So I'll get started. So I'll introduce myself. So I'm Travis Priest. I'm the Fisheries Awareness Coordinator for the north of the state. I run the fish care program in the north of the state. We do things like we're going to do tomorrow. We take school groups out fishing. I come and do this to different classes. We go to AgFest, boat shows, and a lot of regional shows like the Longford and Launceston show. You've probably seen us there with our little fishing pool. So that's what we do. I do a lot of other things behind the scenes. So a few little facts to get us started. 98,000 people in Tasmania go fishing, so that's around about a quarter of our population. So 1 in 4 people in this room will go fishing at some stage this year. So put up your hands if you've been fishing this year. There you go, a lot more than a quarter. So out of the 98,000 people go fishing, obviously some of them go rock lobster fishing, and some people in Tasmania call them crayfish. But we call them in the department rock lobster because that's their fishing name. 84,000 of those fish are taken recreationally, so that's quite substantial. Total number of finfish kept is 1.5 million. That's annually. So when you think about that, that's a lot of fish. So we've obviously got to manage the fishery correct so that we don't take too many. 1.6 million flathead are caught annually, so that's already over the 1.5, but we only keep 925,000 of them. And that equates to 236 tonnes of fish that are kept. So obviously you can see the flathead. Most of you that put up your hand, I reckon you've gone and caught a flathead this year, because that's probably our most popular fish in Tasmania to go and catch, because they're excellent eating as well. So they're easy to catch. So yeah, that flathead and rock lobster are probably our 2 most important fisheries in recreation in Tasmania.
Is that too many flathead to be caught?
No, it's at the minute it's sustainable. It wasn't until we reduced the bag limit and up the size limit. Yeah, it definitely wasn't sustainable. But it's definitely improving. And recreational fishers take 6 times the amount of flathead than what commercial fishers do. So a lot of people hear that the commercial fishermen take all the flathead. That's why we don't catch any, or our fishing rate is diminishing. Well, that's definitely not right. So in Tasmanian waters, which is 3 nautical miles from the coast of Tasmania, recreational fishers take 6 times the amount of flathead than what commercial fishers do. So that's just something to think about when you're out fishing. Now, calamari, so squid, that's an emerging fishery in Tasmania. Probably 10, 15 years ago, not a lot of people used to go fishing for squid. If they did, it was only mainly used for bait. But they've certainly increased in population, increased in popularity because of their eating quality. They're easy to get to, and they're pretty easy to catch as well. So, so over the last 10 years, it has increased. So over 200 tonnes of squid or calamari is taken out of the water every year. And probably over the last 3 or 4 years, the recreational catch has actually outnumbered the commercial catch. So this is another fishery where we're actually taking more than what the commercial sector is. So this is another fishery that we're going to start to look at. So because last year we had a pretty poor recruitment of squid. They only last for 12 months. Squid, so they only live for 12 months. They spawn and then they virtually die. So if you get 1 year where you don't get any recruitment, it has a dramatic effect on the population. So we're definitely watching the calamari stock with a keen eye. Because, a lot of research can go into that. So that's just a few facts of our fishery. Probably the most important ones. Probably the next, I can see probably the next 5 to 6 years. So that's probably when if you're going to follow into the agricultural scene, into the science, marine science scene, this is something you might be looking at. So for fisheries managers to manage the fishery, we need to know where all the fish are being taken and what's being taken around the state. So this is quite old data, so I apologise, it's 2013. There hasn't been a full survey done since then, but that's getting done this year. So as you can see, 20% of people fish in the north. The key species they catch are flathead, Australian salmon and mullet. On the east coast, virtually the same except calamari. The same down south, and on the west coast, rock lobster is one of the mainstays because the rock lobster population down there is pretty good. When the weather's right, it's very accessible. Out of Strawn or Troll Harbour, all those ports. You'll notice something different down there though, on the west coast. Something you've got in your tanks here that people target. Yeah, why do you reckon they target them down there? So that's mainly in Macquarie Harbour and Strawn, so they're targeting the escapees. So the ones that break out of the nets when there's rough weather or a seal goes through the nets, they'll break out, so the recreational fishermen will go down there and target them, mainly in gill nets. So that's quite a big fishery down there. And you can see some of the catches here too. So Australian salmon, nearly 230,000 of those are caught annually. 37% of those return. Trout, that's inland, but 175,000 males we say. 40% of those are returned. Probably the other one, bream, that's a pretty important fishery, 60,000, and 68% of those are returned. So I reckon a lot of that's probably due to the contamination down in the Derwent. So that's a lot of the bream down in that area. And fisheries managers want to know the motivations of why people go fishing. So this is just general fishing, just people going, chucking a line in, catching a flathead, a salmon, whatever. Putting a pot in or going diving for lobster or crayfish, and setting a gill net. So like I mentioned before about the salmon in Macquarie Harbour. A lot of people set gill nets still to gather bait or get a feed of fish. You be very careful with gill nets, so they've only got a 2-hour soak time on them now, because you can catch over your bag on them pretty quick. And a lot of fish actually die in gill nets. So if you've got over your bag, you've got to put dead fish back into the ocean, which isn't a good thing. So keep those safe times down. So social. So a lot of people, say nearly 30% of people go fishing just for the social experience. Rock lobster's the same, and gillnet's the same. As you can see, relaxing. So they're the two main ones there. So socially and to relax. So I know that's why I like to go fishing, to get out on the water, turn off the phone and just have a good time. So you think a lot of people these days will just want to go out and catch a fish to eat or consume, but not really only gillnets. So that's so I reckon most of that would be Macquarie Harbour in Straw. That's the only reason they go there, to catch the escapees.
Is it true that the salmon that escape from fish farms aren't very well adapted to living in the wild and don't live very long? It's not
No,
true?
that's right. It is true, yeah.
It is true, yeah.
It is true, yeah. They soon lose condition.
Yeah.
But they do last quite a while. But they're still catching them in the Derwent from that storm event last year. So,
Okay.
but they're terrible condition. They're just, they nearly look like cooking, So, yeah. There was actually a IMAS project, and that has just been released. So, yeah, which is quite interesting.
Is that because they're not used to catching their own food? Or?
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah. But some of them actually did adapt and
Yeah.
they get off the bottom.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So righto, so keep everyone interested. A few fish ID photos. What's the one in the corner? What sort of shark? Gummy? Yep. It's an easy one.
Does it start with T?
Tuna.
Yep.
Starts with T, but it's not tuna.
Or S.
Trout.
Silver.
Silver trout.
Silver trevally, that's it. So they're caught in the Tamer, George's Bay. Quite a good fighting fish. This one, it's not a real good picture, but that's or S.
Tuna. Trout. Silver.
Both, Susan. Striped, that's it, striped trumpeter. That's an easy one. Salmon, yep. Yep. Yep.
Shell.
They're our giant crabs that we catch off the continental shelf on the east and west coast.
Shell.
One here.
They're quite nice eating curries.
That's it. Scallop. So that's another emerging. This is another emerging fish food. Scallops. So catch a lot of those. People collect them diving, mainly in Coles Bay and off Maroora Island. So what is sustainable fishing? Just have a think about that. So it's harvesting a renewable resource at a rate no faster than it's able to replenish itself. So I know that's a long verse, but just read that, and I've got a video. So there are enough breeding fish left to support the future generations. So this is leading into the video, really. So I've got to get out of this because it won't go.
A fish stock is like any other population. To maintain health, new births or recruitment, condition of young fish to the stock. Balancing numbers going out, deaths with numbers coming in, recruits, is a critical process for managing fish stocks. In this section, we'll examine reproduction and recruitment and the key information scientists require for their stock assessment models. Obviously, not all eggs and spawn end up growing into fish that will recruit into a fishery. Many die on the way. So, in our diagram, breeding and recruitment are inputs into biomass change. It's important to remember that for most fisheries, there's no way scientists can count all the eggs or offspring produced by fish stock. It's just impossible. So, how then do they go about measuring it? Scientists usually assume that the number of eggs produced by a fish stock is directly related to the total weight of all the mature spawning fish. It makes sense. The more adults there are, the more eggs that can be produced. The starting point then is to work out when a fish becomes mature. Like all animals, fish species vary in length and age they become sexually mature and can breed. In our case study fisheries, tiger flathead and gummy shark all mature 4 to 5 years old. Southern bluefin tuna and blue-eyed trevally at 10 to 12 years old, and southern rock lobster at about 7 or 8 centimetre carapace length.
The minimum size for the females is 105 millimetres carapace, which is the back of them, and the males is 110. They reckon that when we start to take the females, they're about 5 to 7 years old, the males about the same. And I think by the time we start to take females, they've had about 2 years of spawning.
Working out the age of fish is very time consuming and expensive, and for some rock lobster, it can't even be done. So instead, scientists look at the relationship between sexual maturity and length. This is much easier to measure. The most efficient method of doing this is to examine a commercial fish catch and work out which fish are sexually mature and what their length is. From this, scientists can estimate at what length the average fish of that species is sexually mature. So, why is length and sexual maturity important? The answer is that with information on the distribution of fish lengths in the stock and knowing the average length at which they begin to breed, then scientists can work out the amount of breeding individuals in that stock. It's called the spawning biomass. Working out the length of the fish in the stock is not as hard as it sounds and is covered in more detail in the next section on age and growth. The relationship between the length of the breeding stock and recruits into the fishery is usually estimated by the stock assessment model. The stock recruitment relationship, or spawning stock recruitment relationship, is one of the key bits of information that describes.
So that's that, just that short little part of that video that I want to show that's quite important. Yeah. So in the video, they noticed that, especially about the rock lobster, that they mentioned that when they take them at that size, which is 105 and 110, so 105 for a female lobster and 110 for a male lobster, the females have already had a chance to breed twice. So that's how we, in Tasmania, that's how we like to run our fisheries as well. So that our flathead, our salmon, all our species that we take at certain sizes, they've had 2 chances to breed. So I'll just summarise that the point that I was trying to make in that video. So this is Australian salmon. Most of you would report, I reckon, if you've gone fishing in the sea. So it's obviously got adults. Those adults have babies, which grow into juveniles. But numbers reduce as they grow, obviously, predation, disease, weak catching, those kind of things. Some reach adulthood, and obviously they reproduce and have babies as well. So the model that fisheries managers, this is what we strive for, is if adults are reduced by fishing, so if we take the top off those adults by fishing, they have fewer babies, but the number that reach the juvenile stage is unaffected. That's what we want. That's the ideal situation that a fisheries manager wants. So, and that's how you get a sustainable fishery. So everyone can still go fishing, but we don't affect the number of juveniles that are coming through the stock. So, yeah. So how do we ensure that the fishery stays sustainable? So we know through science, we know what the sexual maturity is of a fish, or what length they get to when they're sexually mature. So we implement rules to protect the fishery and ensure it remains sustainable. So they're like size limits, with flathead, or virtually every fish has got a size limit. Bag limits, so that we don't take too many of those fish. Seasons, so we have seasons. We're starting to bring in a calamari play season for the north and east coast to protect those fish when they're actually spawning. So they only spawn 1 or 2 months of the year, so that we can protect those fish while they're spawning. Closed waters. We've got a few marine closed areas around Tasmania, so we close waters off for the getting overfished or the population of fish struggling, and fishing gear restrictions. So we limit people to 5 hooks, so you can't put any more than 5 hooks on, that kind of restrictions. Only one net per person, those kind of things. So measure your catch. So what I said before, these are the things that fish care and typically the people that I work for, we really stress. So everyone knows how to measure starfish?
Yeah.
Everyone's measured them before? So if you go fishing off a pontoon or jetty anywhere, or a boat ramp anywhere around the state now, there should be one of these on it, 1 or 2 of these. So they'll have all the species that are actually caught on that jetty, and we've got the size limits on it. So there's really no excuse for people not measuring fish now. So yeah, we've also got our guide. That's available at Service Tasmania, most of the fishing shops, so that's got all the size limits in it. And our Tas Fishing Guide app. So that's, you can put that on your phone. So that's got everything. That's the best things we've ever produced, I reckon. And gently put the little ones back. So the fish that are undersized, you've got to treat them well, because if you handle them, drop them on the concrete, drop them on the wooden jetty, it'll hurt them. The best way that we've found, if you do have to handle fish, is to just have a wet cloth, pick them up. You'll be careful of flathead, because obviously everyone knows with flathead they've got very sharp spines along the back. The easiest way to pick up a flathead, if it's use this one. If you can't get it off with a deep hook, I'm about to show you in a minute. You put your hand and just run it down to lay those spines flat, and then you can pick it up and take the hook out and throw it back. So yeah, a wet towel, because that protects the slime on the fish. If it's a dry towel, it will wipe all the slime off. Obviously, everyone knows what the slime's there for. Or if you can't, so the first option, I should have shown you this first. Sorry, the first option is a de-hooker. So you make these out of coat hangers. Yeah, this is a great thing. So you can just hold this, if it's undersized, just hold this over the jetty or the boat, over the water, just give it a little, and off it goes. So you don't have to touch the fish. So they're a good thing. We have these at our shows and that, so if you ever see us come and grab one, or like I said, you can just make them out of a bit of a fencing wire or a old coat hanger or whatever. So. So I've got a little video here about biomass, and it's got a little bit to do with releasing fish and post-release survival of male game fish. These are the people who do all our research for us. So I thought it might be interesting for you to see our research around this.
I've always had a passion for the ocean. Growing up just up the road here in Taroona, I had easy access to the banks of the Derwent River. So spending my days either on, in or under the water, in particular recreationally fishing, I always had a drive and a passion to actually find out more. So a couple of the most important things to understand about recreational fishing is, one, what is being caught and how much effort is going in. And this is different to commercial fishing where they have to report everything they do. Being a recreational activity, we don't want to have that kind of imposition on the fishers. So we require them to help us out by providing information on what they're catching so we can do survey work, sampling work, and actually provide information back to the managers so they know what's going on. So in Tasmania, we have the opportunity to catch some amazing fish species, but we have a responsibility as recreational fishers to make sure we're doing the right thing when we're engaging with them. And obviously, if the fish are going back in the water, we need to make sure that they're actually surviving that experience. Now, up until recently, it's been very difficult to work out how to do that. How do you monitor when you throw a fish back in the water, what it does? With advances in technology, we're now using satellite tags and acoustic tags. It provides information on where they're going, what they're doing, and whether they actually survive. Not only is that information really interesting, but it's also used by the managers to decide how they're going to regulate the fisheries to provide sustainable fishing into the future. One of the key elements for success in our recreational fishing research is working in with the recreational fishing community. We get the opportunity to work with some really interesting characters, but also some really cool kids that actually remind me of myself when I was young. It's getting that key message of sustainability fostered through the fishery. We need to engage those young people. So it's a really rewarding experience for us to be able to get them out helping us with the science, but also potentially create a career path for them into the future.
Yeah, so you've seen that video a little bit about post-race survival of mainly game fish. So there's been a few projects funded federally and by the Tasmanian government to look at. We had one 2 or 3 years ago looking at emerging fishery of broadbill swordfish. I don't know if you know about that. There's been a lot of broadbill swordfish caught off Tasmania, off the continental shelf in the last 3 or 4 years. So we wanted to have a look at that to see if they're a resident population or they're actually moving up and down the eastern seaboard. So I think that paper's been released. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but and the southern bluefin tuna one, that was a very interesting one as well. The post-release survival of those was actually really good. So that's positive for that fishery. So I can just. And only take what you need for a feast. This is another point that fish care and particularly stress highly. So even though we've got a limit, so if you go out with 3 people on a boat and you can legally catch 60 flathead. So if you're catching 400 or 500 mil flathead, 60 of those fish is a lot. So just think about that. You know, like I've got a family of 4. I can go out and catch 6 or 7 flathead, and that'll feed us probably for 2 or 3 feeds. So quite easily too. So 3 or 4 fillets is all you need each for a feed, I reckon. So time you put a bit of breadcrumbs or whatever on. Don't be too greedy because it's a limit. It's not a goal. So because this can happen if you get too greedy. This was for one person. So this person caught all these flathead in one day. There's actually, if you count, there's actually 59 there. So he actually got he got 40 for his boat and car seas, and I think in the end he got a $5,000 fine. So so it is policed quite heavily, the marine fisheries, or recreational fisheries. So that's policed by the Tasmanian police. So definitely don't do the wrong thing. So we've got all these rules. How do we tell everyone the rules? So obviously I've shown you our guide, our rulers, our app. So we provide services of, like I said, the sea fishing guide. We've got a great website. There's that many tools on the website. recommend anyone that's in fishing go and have a look at it. Email alerts, so if you've got to buy a licence to catch rock lobster or go scallop diving or have a set line or a net, you'll sign up to an email address. So we'll send out alerts. We've got 30 or 40,000 followers on Facebook, and obviously our guide. We've started doing fisheries awareness forums as well. So we have 2 or 3 of those throughout the state of the year. They're good to go, dude. So if you ever see them coming up, it's good for you to go there. And also we do these kind of things with fish care. So the things I've just talked about. The rulers that are on our jetties, we've got flathead pocket rulers, and we've got those rulers that we hand out at events. They're also available at Service Tasmania, all those places, fishing shops. They're a good thing to put in your fishing bag. Just thanks for all that. Okay, sea fishing licences. So to do all these things, to do all these activities, we'll have money. So, so the benefits of having licences, they include information on participation of the fishery. So, especially the rock lobster fishery, where we want to know how many fish are caught at per year by recreational fishers. We've got their names and numbers, and we do survey work every year. So we roughly know how many rock lobster are taken by rec fishers every year. So that's good to have that database. So good contact based on communicating with fishers and a financial contribution towards educational stuff like what I'm doing now, management and compliance costs. So Tas Police and incurred by government providing access for us. So that programs, those kind of things. Righto. So that's about it on that. Projects. So there's a couple of interesting, or one particularly interesting project that I thought I'd just mention before I finish up. It's I'm not sure if you've covered anything about it, but the rock lobster stocks on the east coast of Tasmania about 5 years ago got to a critically low level. They got under 10% virgin biomass. So what that means is that you start off at 100% biomass. So 100% is before anyone started fishing, taking them out of the water, eating them. So our stock on the east coast in one area got down below 10%. So that's, in any other fishing probably in the world, that would have been shut down straight away. But because a lot of people rely on that as income, the Tasmanian government and the fishery section wanted to keep that. So we had to implement some pretty strong measures to try and increase that. So they've come up with a few ways. So we've obviously reduced the tonnage that the commercial fishermen can take out of the water. We've reduced the recreational bagging limit from 5 to 3. Now we've reduced it back to 2. So and we'll shorten the season for the recreational fishers, and we'll put a catch cap on the east coast stock. And we've introduced this project, which is actually translocating small, undersized rock lobster from the southwest of Tasmania up into that area on the east coast where the stock levels are quite low. So what they're doing, I'll show the video in a minute. So what they're doing, they're going down southwest of Tasmania in about, I don't know if any of you have watched the Rock Lobster Men on 7 Mate that's been on.
Yes.
What few of you have? Yeah, well, they're actually going and catching those small brindle fish, what they're catching on there. So they're fish that are probably 40 plus metres, so they're not red like the normal rock lobster that you usually see in restaurants. Down off the southwest of Tasmania, a lot of those fish won't get to legal size before they die because it's deep, cold water down there and their growth rates diminish down there, so they'll actually die before they get to maturity. So bringing them up to the east coast, into the warmer water, into the not so deep water, they actually grow quicker and they breed. So Yeah, so this is just a quick video of that. I think this one actually works. So there's no sound or into this video. So 145,000 rock lobster have been moved. So that's a lot. So they do 5,000 to 7,000 rock lobster a trip every time they fill the boat up. So that's 5,000 to 7,000 fish every trip. So this is them fishing off the southwest of Tasmania, just off Matsyker Island. This is them gathering those small big fish.
Calm day for them.
It is, yeah. All the fish they catch have got to be undersized. So you'll see them measure 1 or 2 in a minute. So yeah. Look how many are in this pot. You wouldn't see that very often. So it'd be probably 60 or 70 fish in that one pot. So you're measuring to see if he was undersized. And those undersized fish go straight down into the hole of the boat.
So why can't they take oversized ones?
Because we want to keep those down there to they'll breed down there. Yeah. So that's once they've got their boat full, they'll steam up the east coast to different locations. That's determined by fisheries managers in the Pickley, and they'll dump those fish. So this is them obviously steaming up past Coles Bay. You can see the Hasleys there. These are actually Tasmanian rock lobster fishing that do this too, so they put in a tender for the state government to do this. That's those fish, seeing they're not that deep red colour. So that's them going back down to the bottom on the east coast. So that's going to be funded for another 4 years. So another 120,000 fish we translate that. So.
And is it working? Is the population recovering?
It's definitely. Yeah. Okay, so this will be probably more covered tomorrow when we actually go fishing, but this is my other role. I coordinate fish care for the north of the state. Yeah, so we obviously I mentioned before, this is at the Scallop Festival at Bridport. So we go to shows and that like that, and take all this sort of merchandise and explain to people size and its bag limits and sort of what I've gone through today. So sort of touch on that. This is our stored Ag Fest that we have every year. This is great. So if you're going to Ag Fest this year, call in and search, because we have fish there that we actually dissect and cleaning. If you want to, we do cleaning demonstrations. Have live rock lobster there, so you can actually look at them and touch them. So that's a great thing to go to. So if you're going to Ag Fest, please call in. And main message: fish for the future. Like I said before about the limit of fish. You know, if 3 people go fishing, you can take 60 fish if you want to. This is flat end I'm talking about. There's no need to. So fish for the future, because these are my kids. I want my kids to be able to go fishing and catch fish, and I want their kids to do it as well. So I think you'd be in the same boat as well. So we need to look after our population. We don't know how lucky we are to be able to go and catch fish in the wild like we can. So we really need to look after them. So that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.